Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Trivedi, and in this segment today we are going to discuss about the emerging threats in the cyber arena. This topic is important from the perspective of prelims and also from the perspective of GN's mains paper 2 and 3. So let's begin with the topics of discussion that we are going to look at. These are the many topics that we are going to discuss. We are discussing this topic because it is of utmost importance as we are living in the ages of data explosion. So we must know not only as a UPSC aspirant, but also as a citizen who is consuming a lot of data every day, who is giving a lot of data every day in the digital arena. And if we talk about this topic is being discussed because there has been a report that has been published by Accenture and many other reports we will cite for this particular segment, which has flagged concerns with respect to increasing cyber security threats, the emergence of malicious softwares, specifically in the pandemic and post-pandemic era. So, as you can see, what kept cybersecurity busy in 2021? That means what were the ransomwares, what were the malicious softwares that kept the entire 2021 a year of awakening for cybersecurity. Along with this, I have also attached a picture which is of NCRB, National Crime Report Bureau, which says, National Crime Record Bureau, which says that India reported 11.8% rise in cybercrime in 2020. That is not only just the cyber threat with respect to malicious software, but also other crimes in which the cyberspace is used for committing the crimes. The perpetrator and the victim belong to the digital cyberspace. Okay, that is why we are discussing this. So we are citing the highlights of the Accenture report and many other reports as well over here, specifically with respect to India, the CERT-in report and future recorded. This is also going to be cited. So as you can see, there has been a 31% jump in the average number of attacks per company since the year 2020. That means in just 1 year, the jump has been as significant as 31%. That is, of course, because of the digital interaction that we all as citizens resorted to because of the pandemic. And if we talk about successful breaches, 31% were attempted attacks, in which successful breaches rose from 44% to 61%. Now, this is significant. Why? Because this is showing us the emerging capabilities, more accurate capabilities of hacktivists and hackers in the digital arena. And increasingly, they are targeting the critical infrastructure. That means they are a threat to security over here. We can talk about the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack. Ransomware attack, we will talk about that. But the Colonial Pipeline, the fuel pipeline of the US was attacked by a ransomware, and they asked for a specific amount, $5 billion rupees, $5 billion, not rupees, $5 billion. Because of that, it is known as ransomware, because they are asking for money in return in exchange of the information that they are holding. So, $5 billion were given to them, and a part of them was, the part of the money given was eventually, it was recovered. But of course, you can see how helpless the government of US had become. And this shows that a government like US, if it can become helpless, as in the situation with Afghanistan as well, India should be ready for this. Florida and SolarWinds IT company. The SolarWinds IT company, which is responsible for water treatment, that was also under the attack of SolarWinds. That was also because of the increasing attack with respect to critical infrastructure. It is very important for us to discuss this. And we can talk about Kaseya, which is a software company catering to 40,000 companies. It also suffered a cyber attack. And this was because of REvil ransomware. REvil ransomware. And it asked for money in terms of Bitcoin. Can you imagine the upgradation the dark web has reached to? So they asked for the ransom of approximately 70 million Bitcoins. This is just awakening for us. And people were kept very busy in the US because of this. That means the officials were very busy with respect to REvil. Facebook, the social media that we all are a part of, Facebook also suffered a massive attack breach, and private information such as contact number, such as name, such as email ID, everything was leaked. And even the CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, his account details were also leaked. However, not very significant and very specific information was leaked. That is a good thing, but you can see the importance of it. And there are some major state-sponsored attacks as well. That means the government is involved in hacking certain critical infrastructure. How can we forget about the problems with China and India with respect to the border standoff that we have been witnessing since the last 1 year? Because of that, the Chinese state-sponsored actors attacked India's power sector. 10 companies of the power sector were attacked by Red Echo's ShadowPad malware. Red Echo, it's a group of hackers, and they used ShadowPad as a malware to attack the critical infrastructure such as the energy and power infrastructure. However, major information was not leaked. That is a good thing. How can we not talk about Pegasus? Pegasus, which is a malware, it gets installed into your mobile phones or software systems by using WhatsApp call. Even if you do not answer the WhatsApp call, it is able to install itself. The latest one being Log4Shell, which is the malware itself. Malicious software. The short form of malware is malicious software. So you have to remember the name of these malwares because it can be asked in the prelims. What are or recently seen in the news, ShadowPad, Log4Shell, and SolarWinds, what is it related to? It can be asked like that. Okay, so Log4Shell is the biggest cybersecurity, uses the biggest vulnerability, that is the flaw in the open source logging library, which is a vulnerability and it has been exploited by the hackers. You do not need to go into the Java structure of everything, but you need to understand that a bit about the Log4Shell, that it uses the vulnerability in the open source logging library that is used by the government firms and agencies, and the easy to execute vulnerability has been attacked. So we can see that the attacks have risen because the engagement of people have risen. Moving on, if we talk about the cybersecurity threat, first we need to understand what is cybersecurity threat. Basically the concept, it is using certain softwares in order to unlawfully gain access to the private information of an individual, a firm, or a government, and that can disrupt digital operations or damage information. Because nowadays what happens, critical infrastructure such as nuclear power sectors, if we talk about the interaction of government agencies, secrets of individuals which are private to their own nature, secrets of the firm which give a company advantage over other companies, everything is there in our computer systems, and if it gets disrupted, then it's a cyber security which is unlawful, and it can be done by corporate spies, hacktivists, terrorist groups, hostile nation states, criminal organizations, lone hackers, and disgruntled employees as well. And there are certain types of cybersecurity threats. There are types that we are going to discuss over here is malware, that is malicious software. Malicious software gets installed into your computer by using some sort of link, and it installs itself in order to spy over you. It can be spying over you, like Pegasus. It used to spy over people. Okay, so it can use to spy over you. It can lock your files and ask for money, which makes malware a ransomware. Okay, this is ransomware over here. So whenever your important information is held by a hacker or a group of hackers and they ask for something in exchange of it, that is known as ransomware. Now, man in the middle attack is moreover for people who use unprotected Wi-Fi sources. So what it does, suppose two people are there, they're using a Wi-Fi which is unprotected, and I am person A and this is person B. We are exchanging information, and this is the man in the middle, which is a hacker. She is a hacker. So whatever information we are exchanging, it is trying to filter that and then use those information against us. Okay, so this is man in the middle. We also have phishing. Phishing means through a mail, a link can be sent, and the individual who is seeing the email, he or she is going to follow the instruction, click on the link, and hence this is known as phishing, because that is a malicious software link. It has been installed into your computer. And there are many other: SQL injection, denial of service attack. In here, the computer is flooded with information, so its service stops. Okay, so many are there, but this is what the main ones are. Okay, let's move forward and talk about the very important index, the cybersecurity threat index, which is actually using certain parameters to gauge what is the rank of different countries when it comes to the stronger cybersecurity. India has ranked 10th here. India has done well, and it has been released by International Telecommunication Union, which is of course a specialized agency of the UN. Remember that. It is a specialized agency of the UN. Tell me in the comment segment, where is it located? The headquarters. Okay, so this cybersecurity threat index was released on 29th of June 2021. So this is the latest one. We are going to discuss that. So it uses certain parameters such as what are the legal measures available for any cybersecurity threat, what are the technical measures, how to equip the technical staff well enough that if any cybersecurity happens, cybersecurity threat emerges, how can we overcome that? What are the organizational measures? How many organizations are there to coordinate? And capacity development, what capacity has been built and upgraded against cybersecurity, and what is the cooperation? So India has done well here. So the performance is then aggregated, made into an overall score. The first one, even if US has done so good in strengthening its cybersecurity, still it used to get attacked by so many hackers. So US topped the chart. Remember which country? US has topped the chart. Secondly, it is followed by UK and Saudi Arabia. They have tied on the second place. Don't make it for second, third. No. UK and Saudi Arabia are on the second place, and Estonia, interestingly, holds the third position. India has moved up 37 ranks. Now it is in the top 10, the 10th one. Okay. And moving on, if we talk about the position in the Asia Pacific region, India stands fourth. Very important information, note it down. Okay, fourth position in Asia Pacific, right? So India has done well, and India scored a total of 97.5 points from the possible maximum marks of 100. Okay, so even though India, US, UK, they are doing so well in their parameters, but of course we can see the upgradation of hackers is much more marginal, much more significant, not marginal. Then we talk about India and cybersecurity, the current scenario. What is the current scenario? First, we have to understand that over more than 6 lakh cybersecurity incidents, cybersecurity threats happen in the first 6 months of the year itself. That is just very surprising. Now, the biggest takeaway from this segment is even not only social media, not only critical infrastructure with reference to government agencies, even airplanes and airlines are being hacked. We can talk about Air India, which reported a cybersecurity incident that happened in the month of February of this year, which affected the data of 4.5 million people. The personal information was leaked, but the thing is, credit card information and other very important informations were not leaked. But still, hackers, they have targeted CoWIN portal. So this is the official app that we use to register ourselves and our family members for vaccination, and fake CoWIN apps were made masquerading them to be real. and there was circulation of SMS in which a link was shared that your registration has been done and so on and so forth, and people used to click on that link. What happened? Hackers got an access to their contacts. So be very aware of fake apps as well. Then what is the need for us to address this situation? From the government's point of view, companies and individuals. Government point of view, government, the state and the center shares and has stored very critical information with respect to the security and internal security and the integrity of the nation. What if it gets into the hands of terrorists? What if the code, encrypted code, gets into the hands of the Taliban? So there are many threats with respect to the breach of security with respect to government of any country. Secondly, from the perspective of individuals, your private information, so private to yourself, it is stored in a cloud system. Suppose you're sharing it through Google Drive, right? Even if you're not sharing it through Google Drive, actually privacy has become a myth. I don't know if many of you have noticed it. I have noticed it for sure. Even if we are having a conversation about some particular commodity with somebody and we have not, suppose we have not searched for it, it somehow appears on your tab. This is really dangerous. So we have to understand that privacy has actually become a myth, and that is why we need a proper law. Personal Data Protection Bill, which is still a bill. I don't know for what reason. It is taking a lot of time in a country like India to pass it as an act. Proper deliberation is needed for sure. But here I'm trying to tell you that your information is very critical. If any link which is doesn't look authentic, if you click on it, your personal information can be held for ransomware. Be very aware. If we talk about company stores so many confidential information and data about their products. If it gets breached through other companies' hacktivists, then what will happen? The company can lose advantage, the competitive advantage. Secondly, we have to understand that not only cyber warfare defensive but offensive. On this front also India has to work a lot. UK, US, China, these are certain countries, Russia, these are certain countries that do not only have defensive system but offensive as well. So they can attack the hackers as well. Increased digital usage post-COVID has also given us a big need of having a proper strategy when it comes to digital media. So Internet of Things, digital payments, all have been on the rise. Proliferation of Internet of Things is happening. We are seeing Alexas in our house. We are seeing digital, the vacuum cleaners, digital robots in the house of Amazon. So we have to understand that very critical information resides in a household. We need proper bill to save it. Then for protecting critical sectors, of course, from the perspective of national security, the command structure of Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force, the codes with respect to nuclear powers, the codes with respect to the power generation, many things are there. For satellites as well, we need to understand the importance, and the government of India did understand the importance, so they released a strategy in 2020 with respect to cyber threat. That is the National Cyber Security Strategy of 2020. It was formulated by the Office of National Cyber Security Coordinator, which is at the National Security Council Secretariat. National Security Council is a 3-tier structure that overlooks at the economic, security, energy regions of the country. Okay, first thing is that. And it aims to improve cyber awareness. That means people should be aware about these kind of threats, and also cyber security through more stringent audits. Until and unless we do not have audits, we will not know what are the vulnerabilities and the gaps are there that need to be filled. Also, secondly, it has said that impaneled cyber auditors will be there to look more carefully at the security features. That means we need capacity building. First, we need skill training and capacity building for such a job, and features of the organization that are legally necessary. Now, how will it work? What is going to be the process? Let's understand this. So there will be a tabletop cyber crisis management. That means a well integrated from the above cyber crisis management, which regularly be enforcing that cyber attacks can take place regularly. Okay, so they have to be more vigilant and stringent. They have to be have an eagle eyes approach. Okay, then it does call for an index of cyber preparedness. We already have the cyber security index of ITU, but at the national level also we need to have it, and so that we can have proper monitoring. A separate budget is needed because data has exploded in a country like India, when smartphones, Wi-Fi's, everything is becoming so cheap that the weakest of the weakest section now can afford it. So of course we need to understand the importance of privacy. It's not just an elitist concept as said, but it is a concept, it is a need of the hour, right? So a separate budget is needed, as also to synergize the role and functions for the various agencies. Until and unless something has proper funding support, even if we talk about India, cybersecurity should be at the core of the next budgets. It's very important. Now, other initiatives have also been taken. I'm not going to explain every initiative, but you can cite their example whenever the question comes. We have Cyber Surakshit Bharat initiative. We have Cyber Swachhata Kendras. Do some homework with respect to these as well. Online Cybercrime Reporting Portal, Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center we have, National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, and IT Act, do study about it, and National Cyber Policy of 2013. There are certain challenges. Everything has a challenge, specifically for a populous country like India. That first, there is lack of awareness. People might get certain messages about that you have won this amount of rupees. Click on the following link. Your loan has been approved. Click on the following link. So these all are ransomware. There should be an awareness campaign even at the school and college level, so that not only us as citizens, but we can educate our parents who are not very well equipped and digitally literate when it comes to this field. Personal Data Protection Bill. This is the biggest challenge. It hasn't become an act yet. Since 2019, it has been 2018-19, it has been in talks to go ahead with this. The Justice, we have talked about this bill time and again, Shri Krishna Committee. Nothing has been done as of yet. Deliberations are taking place, but it needs to become an act for more stringent enforcement. State-sponsored breaches. This is the most critical of every challenge, any challenge, because when the state comes into the picture, as the state is all-powerful, it can hire all-powerful hackers. And this is now emerging as another sort of war arena. We do not now fight with swords. We fight with, if we talk about international relations, we fight with the help of UN, in the UN, not with the help of UN, in the UN, through resolutions, through motions. But now this is emerging as in another form of war space, that is the cyber security threat that we are having. Moving on, let's talk about the way forward. First, it's very important that no loopholes are left behind, no gaps are there. Gaps should be monitored very precisely so that we can plug them. If we do not plug them, they will be plugged by other hackers. We have to create a layered security system. As we know, dark web is very powerful, more than the regular web that we use. So we need to create more security layers, and especially with respect to critical structures. There is a need for an apex body so that it can ensure coordination and proper channelization of the information that will be used by technical staff in different ministries. Important ministries, specifically the nuclear command forces, especially the military forces, they can have a specific staff or a specific department for having a deeper coordination with respect to cyber security, and an overarching body should be there for looking over it. And cyber deterrence can be envisaged on the lines of strategic deterrence. That means deterrence means if you are going to hurt me in any form, I will take certain steps which is going to hurt you more than you hurt me. This is the layman term for deterrence. So a person, if they are in a threat of being hurt back with much more vigor, they will not do it. So similar sort of offensive we need to have. Let's move forward and talk about the means-based question. With the increasing risk of cyber threats and a lack of policy firewall, how can India protect its dream of Digital India. We celebrated the six years of completion of Digital India this year on July 1st. So we need to understand the importance of Digital India and connect that with respect to cybersecurity. Okay, so that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.